After finishing in the red yesterday, U.S. stocks, they were in the red for a second straight session Tuesday, with all key S&P sectors trading in negative territory. This after two Fed presidents said the Fed could begin tapering its easy money pop program as early as September. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average for the session did continue to decline throughout the day. First, we take a look at the Fed's statements. Atlanta Fed President Dennis Lockhart said the initial taper in the central bank's asset purchase program could start at any of the three remaining Federal Open Market Committee meetings this year. Also, Chicago Fed President Charles Evans said the exact same, that the central bank will likely reduce its stimulus program later this year. Meanwhile, on the economic front, the U.S. trade deficit fell 22.4% to $34.2 billion in June, narrowing to its lowest level in more than 3.5 years. Overseas in Europe, shares were slightly higher following reports that showed German industry orders beat forecast in June to record the biggest rise since October. Also, Japan's benchmark index that reversed earlier losses to rally 1% as the Japanese yen weakened. And with gold prices taking a tumble and the U.S. dollar falling to both the euro and the yen, it looked to be quite the active finish to this trading session for the big board. Speaking of which, taking a look now to see how the big board has performed, the Dow again on the downside, 93.39 points to settle in just above 15,500 at 15,516.74. In a breakdown of today's major market movers, we first begin on the earnings front. Michael Kors seeing a surge today after the retailer posted earnings that nearly doubled. This thanks to gains in Europe and a rollout of shops within its department stores. Meanwhile, American Eagle Outfitters tumbled after the teen apparel retailer said its second quarter profit will likely be less than half of what the street is expecting due to weak sales and lower margins. And Bank of America traded lower after the Justice Department said it had filed a civil lawsuit against the financial company for what lawyers said was fraud on investors involving roughly $850 million of residential mortgage-backed securities. And lastly, the Washington Post soaring after Amazon.com founder Jeff Bezos agreed to buy the publishing company's newspaper assets for $250 million.